Welcome to my third episode of Herbal Healing Series. My name is Denenga and I am the founder of the Camel Coat Collection, Camel Coat Project, and as part of this I have created this new series in order to take a journey through the many herbs that I have been collecting, and some of which I've been using, some which I'm still learning about, and I'd love to share that with you through this series. So in the first two episodes we were focused on calendula and chamomile. Today I want to share one of my most precious recipes with you, and this is what I call the tummy tea. I created this for myself, and I've also shared it with people who are close in my life, who are also suffering from anxieties or tummy, digestive issues and that sort of thing. And so I wanted to share with you my special tea. And folks who know me, folks who have maybe been in residency with me, shout out to my Spoleto folks from last October in Italy. This is my tummy tea, and it's a wonderful tea that I prepare for myself every day. I have sometimes started the day with it, and then other times I end the day with it. So it's a combination of my favorite herbs that all work to release anxiety, to calm the nervous system, to bring an energy of joy and peace. There are some of the ingredients that have a kind of soothing effect to the lymphatic and cellular structure. It almost feels, for instance, ashwagandha, I've described it in the past when I first was introduced to it as a kind of massage for your cells. It feels as if they're being hugged and embraced in the most gentle and beautiful way. So everyone's experience will differ with the herbs, and you may choose to include or exclude some of these. As always, I advise that you do your own research so that you understand how this might work for you and how it might react with your own system, with other medications you may be taking, etc. Again, I'm not a medical doctor, and this is provided for entertainment purposes only. Please use at your own discretion, and I am not responsible for any use or effects that may occur. But I'm going to share with you now what I call the tummy tea recipe. And this is a mixture of herbs that I have been collecting over time, and I really, really love them. They can be used in recipes. I have friends who cook with different elements, making teas, iced teas, tinctures, poultices to place on the skin. There are so many things that you can do with these. I have collected these and they work well together for me. And yes, it's a series of, it takes a while to prepare, but there's also beauty in that ritual. So let me go through each of these with you one at a time. So the herbs that I have collected here for my tummy tea, anti-anxiety mixture include the following. At the top here we have butterfly pea flower. Now you can see from the beautiful purpley blue color, this is a wonderful soothing herb that you can use in both a hot and cold manner. You can mix it, for instance, with hibiscus. Some people may know that as Jamaica in Mexico and other locations. And what it will do is it will turn this from a kind of a deep, gorgeous blue toward a purple. And then if you add something more acidic, like lemon or turmeric, which is featured here, then it turns it more green. And when I add a little bit of oat milk, which I do like to do with my tea, it will turn it a kind of gorgeous mint color. So there's lots that can be done with the butterfly pea flower, and for those of you who are artists, you can also use this one for watercolor or for dyeing fabrics. Research that on your own in terms of what will allow it to be color fast, and play with it and really enjoy it. It's so refreshing and beautiful. This is the calendula that we discussed in episodes 1 and 2. Calendula and chamomile that are really, really beautiful and calming. This is an astringent, it's an antioxidant, and it also helps with a mild sedative effect that allows for a calming of the system. In the center here I have turmeric. Turmeric is an Ayurvedic herb that is known and especially used in India, Southeast Asia, many other locations around the world, and it is an incredible, incredible fortifier. This will heal you like no other, and it's a wonderful herb to include in your daily practice. I include this here in a powdered form. One note is that this is like the butterfly pea flower. Turmeric is very, very, it will stain. So you can be very careful when you're using it. If you have things, for instance, your tea towels and other things that you don't want to be stained. But if you'd like to use it for your artwork and for fabrics, etc., it's a wonderful herb to work with. People swear by turmeric. This will keep you strong and healthy. So I include a little bit. One note is that for the purposes of this display, I have added perhaps a little bit more than I would normally use for a pot of tea. And these are not exactly in the same amounts that I would add every day for just a couple cups of tea. For instance, I probably wouldn't use that much turmeric powder. You can also find turmeric in the grocery store. For Chicago folks, I have seen it at Mariano's in it almost looks like ginger, and you can find that just like the ginger root, which is right here, and you can use your grater and grate it and actually use the original root form. So there are many different ways that you can find it. Then we have the ashwagandha. I have put both the powder form and the root form. The root is really wonderful. It's the original dried root. I use the powdered form just a little bit. Again, this is probably a bit more than I would use for a pot of tea. But this is a wonderful, wonderful addition to your healing journey, especially if you need soothing, if you've undergone heartbreak, if you are feeling bereft or otherwise upset within your body and within your system and your spirit. Ashwagandha is a wonderful, wonderful root to consider using. Again, it also has a little bit of a sedative effect, and it is part of the Ayurvedic family. Right here I have dandelion. This dandelion is wonderful for the liver, so this is going to be a very powerful cleansing herb that I encourage folks to include in some way in their diet, whether you are eating the dandelion leaves and otherwise using all of the benefits of the plant itself. In the United States, people have been trained to believe that dandelions are weeds and that they should be gotten rid of in favor of grass that does nothing but take resources. That's a longer story to get into, but we need to start really understanding the benefits of dandelion. I would always encourage you, if you're going to use herbs that you're finding or that you're foraging and sourcing, be mindful that in many urban locations there are a lot of pesticides and other kinds of chemicals that are used in the vicinity that get into the groundwater, and so whether it's from traffic and smoke and other kinds of chemicals that are ending up on top of the leaves and otherwise dispersed on the plant life. So you want to be just very mindful about where you're harvesting, where you're getting your leaves from. And again, looking at organic farmers and others who practice different types of healthy harvesting. This is ginger root, which is a must-have. This is especially good for the lungs and good for the digestive system. For those who can't tolerate peppermint, for instance, peppermint is usually recommended for people who have tummy aches. Myself, I cannot tolerate peppermint. It actually makes me feel nauseous when it's used in an ingested form. So I recommend ginger, which is also great for cough. If you're a singer, we talked about some other uses in the episodes 1 and 2 for some other herbs that will help with that. So adding a little bit of honey to your mixture, natural honey, certified honey that we know is not coming from corn syrup or other non-honey sources and being marketed as such. Use your ginger. Then we have here lemon balm. Lemon balm is the most amazing, amazing healer. It is very, very, very soothing. If I were to use nothing else, I would probably mix the butterfly pea flower with some lemon balm, maybe a touch of ginger, but this will really, really soothe your tummy, especially if you're having upset. This is a wonderful, wonderful soothing herb to work with. Lemon balm, incredibly, incredibly soothing. This is another one that you might consider using, especially if you're going to do a steam. You could add the lemon balm with your calendula and your chamomile. Now, here we have another herb that is also being very useful for the system, and this is a okay, I'm going to go back just a moment here. I got my herbs confused. This is the dandelion, and this is actually parsley. And parsley, as we know, it's used in many different ways, usually in the United States as a garnish. Unfortunately, people will just toss it away. It's a breath freshener in its fresh form. It is also used in tabbouleh, which is a Mediterranean and a Middle Eastern kind of a salad, chopped up. We also have uses here as a tea in its dried form that again is a kind of an astringent and a cleanser, and it's really, really wonderful to add for doing that same cleansing within your body internally. So here we have our dandelion root, and then here we've got licorice root. Now I really love to add licorice root. This is up to you. Again, in the United States, licorice is generally associated with a kind of a candy that has a really, really strong, very particular taste. This is not that, though it's maybe coming from a similar source, but licorice root is a completely different kind of a taste and effect. Much more mild, wonderful, wonderful for the system. And this is also great for the lungs. Again, this is going to be calming, this is going to be cleansing, astringent internally. Another strong herb for lungs is mugwort. You can see here that this has almost a fluffy, fuzzy kind of texture to it and a look to it, almost as if it were, yeah, puffy and a little bit fuzzy. It's very sweet. Mugwort is another one that is very, very powerful for the lungs. I would definitely recommend, for those of you who watched episode 2, go back and take a look at that, because I talk about steaming and the use of calendula, chamomile, and I would also add some mugwort into that as well. Now we have our lemon balm, which I talked about already. We've got, so parsley, dandelion and lemon balm, absolutely wonderful root to definitely keep in your cabinet. Here we have lotus flowers. Lotus flowers are one that I will sometimes add, especially at nighttime, not necessarily in the daytime, unless I'm going to be doing perhaps some more spiritual work or something that I want to be allowing myself to kind of access other realms in a way. Because lotus is a very, very mystical flower. Look at the beautiful sort of yellow and purple, these complementary colors that allow you to enter a kind of an ethereal realm. And so this is used for dreaming, for astral traveling, and other kinds of spiritual work. This is wonderful, especially for a nighttime tea, because again, it's very soothing. Finally, we have rose petals. And here I have the actual rose petals, again from one of my favorites, which is Anima Mundi, and the powder. This is what I use in my mixture every day, this beautiful rose powder that has this gorgeous, gorgeous color. And you can use the rose petals again for your bath. You can use it for a yoni steam. We'll be covering that in future episodes. All of these herbs work together to support a healthy, balanced, healing, internal and external ecosystem. So thank you for joining me for this last episode, and have a beautiful day. I hope this will be useful for you. Bye. Now, I recommend that you purchase a tea strainer of some kind. There are many different versions. Some people like to use the clip kind that you can set with the handle into your teacup. For me, those are a little bit too small, as you can see with everything that I have here. And so I like to have something a little bit more substantial. You can search online or at your local store and find many different options. It has a little bottom part that can also be a lid that allows you to set this in. So one of the things also that I like to do is I like to use rhodiola. Do some research on this one and you will find that this is a highly recommended herbal supplement for women to assist our systems, and especially around the nervous system, and that's what we're really looking at today with this particular tea and that I have created for myself. And rhodiola is a wonderful herb that I have here in tincture form that allows us to basically boost our senses, boost our system, boost our nervous system, and it helps to boost mood as well. Wonderful, very gentle to the system, and I truly notice a difference when I use this. For those who are interested, do the research and you will really see what is out there when it comes to the uses of rhodiola. Another one that I enjoy is plantain. This is another healing tincture. I just take a couple of drops, not too many, but I just put a couple of drops in there, and I don't refresh it with every single cup of tea, because this would make a nice big pot of tea, maybe 5 cups or so or more. And so I just start with the first cup. It's a little bit bitter, as is the goldenseal. Many people know about goldenseal root, again, coming from different Asian cultures. There are many uses for this, and it's tremendously fortifying for the blood, for the system, and in terms of keeping the synapses running smoothly and such. This is a very bright yellow, so this is one that will stain your clothing or stain other surfaces. It's a very, very strong root and bitter. So when you're doing this, you would probably want to use the honey or some brown sugar or something to really flavor the tea. Now what I'm going to do then is I'm going to add each of these into my tea container. Each one of these is added, and then I'm going to place that into my teacup, pour in the water. I always like to enjoy it with a little bit of oat milk and some honey, and that's the way that I will take my healing tea. So here we have our tea prepared, along with our pet snake. This is from my mother's collection. For the mood of the year. And we will add some hot water. Let that steep for a little while. I like to gently tickle the leaves just to bring everything together. Put my own energy into it. Good intentions. Let that steep for just a moment. Now I've added just a touch of oat milk. The color will change depending upon the amount of each ingredient that you are adding. Right now we have a little bit more on the green side, less on the blue side. Play around with it. It's fun. It's fun to drink green tea. Actual creamy green tea. All right, so me and my little Ikarem familiar are going to enjoy a cup of tea together. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this episode number 3. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know. Was it useful? Was it interesting? And are there any herbs that you would like to learn more about? All right, thank you. Oh, so good. So good, so good, so good.